All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be doing the top 10 power forward video. I've already done point guards, shooting guards, and small forwards. If you missed any of those three, you can go back and watch those on the channel. But today, we're doing the top 10 power forwards in the NBA. This was a very, very hard list. The power forwards now have gotten crazy. A lot of people have moved positions and all that stuff. So this was the hardest list and probably the most star-studded list that we're going to have. And I'm very excited to do this here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn on notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Join the membership. If you want to learn more about the membership, there's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. Link to my Twitters, all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, before I get into it, like I said in the other videos, these are my personal opinions and my personal rankings. So if you disagree, that's okay. Leave it down in the comment section below who your top 10 power forwards are, what you would change on the list, and all the good stuff like that. And yeah, I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. Starting this list off at number 10 on the top 10 power forward list, we have Scotty Barnes of the Toronto Raptors. Barnes last season averaged almost 20 points per game with 8 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, and 1.5 blocks on 47, 34, 78 shooting splits. Scotty Barnes, after having a winning Rookie of the Year back in 2022, in 2023, he kind of stayed the same. The numbers are basically the same as his rookie season. There wasn't really much growth, and it was a little bit worrisome, but not too crazy. And then last season, he just has a huge jump. Career highs everywhere. Points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, free throw percentage, career highs everywhere. Shot attempts just sparks up. And honestly, I feel like he was a big reason why the Raptors decided to trade OG and Pascal. Because coming into the season, the Raptors are just in this weird spot of being like, all right, they're not great to be a contender, but they're also not bad. They have some decent things. Like, what's the direction going to happen for the Raptors? And then the way Scotty Barnes came out the season, it felt like they kind of decided, okay, Scotty is going to be our building block in the future. So now we feel comfortable trading away Pascal, trading OG, going young, and having Scotty as a building block. And Barnes is he just turned 23 years old, made the All-Star team last year as a replacement, just got a big $200 million contract extension because the Raptors have shown faith in him. And yeah, Barnes, we already know what he can do defensively, having a steal and a block. He can do so many things at defensive end. He can rebound the ball. He can play make, a really good ball handler for a guy that's 6'7", 6'8" guy with his size, but also the offensive jump he had last season. I mean, he shot 34% from three on almost 5 attempts. He just looked more confident, even though the stats and numbers don't look eye-popping from three and jump shooting. Just the confidence that he had in it, the way he was like, "I'm going to take this shot no matter what," or like, "I can do this," was really, really huge for Scotty. And that's a big part of his game. If he can become a consistent 20-something point per game scorer while doing all the things he does on the defensive end and being a guy that can also have the ball in his hands and he can play make for others, I mean, averaging 6 assists per game, Scotty looks like he's going to be the future of the Toronto Raptors. And it's just really, really cool to see Scotty take this jump like this. And I'm excited to see what he does in year number 4. Number 9 on the top 10 power forward list, we have Karl Anthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Towns last season averaged 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists on 50, 41, 87 shooting splits. And then the playoffs, he averaged 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists on 46, 36, 85 shooting splits. Karl Anthony Towns moved over to the power forward position. Back in 2023, he only played in 29 games, so him and Rudy couldn't really get a bunch of things established with themselves. But then, and there's a lot of talk about the Timberwolves about, can this big duo work? Did they make a mistake? Is Towns getting traded? All this stuff. And then they come into last year and they figure it out. I mean, Towns has a really good season. I mean, averaging 21 and 8, shooting 50, 40, 90 almost as a center or as a big man. Is big. He made the All-Star team. Just honestly, it was like statistically, it didn't look like a great year for Towns. I mean, 21.8, that's his third, fourth lowest of his career. He's had years where he's averaged 24, 25, 26 points per game. But watching him on the court, you were like, oh, Towns really improved so much because he did so much to help this Minnesota Timberwolves team, buying into a role after he was a center for his entire career, moving over to the forward spot, being able to look better defensively. Is he an amazing defender? No, but him trying, helping this team that ended up being the best defense in the NBA was huge. Being able to sacrifice some of his numbers and stuff for guys like Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert to really shine. It was a really good year for Karl Anthony Towns. In the playoffs, he was very up and down. He had some good moments, had some not so great moments. Fouls really were a big thing. Staying on the court, all that stuff. He had games where he'd have 18, then he'd have single digits. It was really back and forth. But Towns is still a really, really good player, still an all-star level talent, still a guy that's so huge for this Minnesota Timberwolves team. And it was just really great to see him kind of buy into the role he plays now with Minnesota. At number 8 on the top 10 power forward list, we have Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans. Zion last year averaged almost 23 points per game with 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal on 57, 33, 70 shooting splits. Zion, I feel like, had one of the more underrated seasons last year. Didn't make the All-Star team or anything like that. He played in 70 games, which is the most he's ever played in his career. Had a really good year, average career high in assists. The ball was a lot more in his hands, with the point Zion thing. And he looked really good. He had some really good stretches at certain points during the season, but I feel like it just wasn't really getting acknowledged as much because, there's so many other great forwards in the league. And even though statistically it didn't look crazy, it's not like he's averaging 28, 7, and 5 on crazy, like that type of stuff. But he was having big moments in really, really good games. And then he had the playing game with the Lakers where he was absolutely dominating until unfortunately he got injured and he missed the series against the OKC Thunder, which was really, really unfortunate. And that's been the story of Zion Williamson's career. But Zion, he showed last year when he's on the court, he is amazing. Last year he had an all-star caliber type of season. And now, with him looking in the offseason, look like he's slimmed down a little bit more. And it looked like he's probably hopefully going to be a lot more healthy. And him showing last year that he can be healthy. 70 games last year for Zion is absolutely amazing. So hopefully he can continue that stretch. He's still only 24 years old, so he still has a lot more time to grow and get better with this Pelicans team. And I hope next year he comes out and has a huge season to remind everybody, hey, remember me? I'm Zion and I'm dominant. At number 7 on the top 10 power forward list, we have Julius Randle of the New York Knicks. Randle last season averaged 24 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists on 47, 31, 78 shooting splits. Randle had a really good season last year, despite him starting the year off really bad. If you remember last year, the first couple weeks of the season, it was looking really, really rough for Julius Randle. But then all of a sudden, he locked in, turned it all the way around, and ended up finishing averaging 24, 9, and 5 and making the All-Star team, which is insane considering the star he had. Unfortunately, injuries really got to him. He only played in 46 games last season, missed the entire second half and the playoff run for the New York Knicks. Really unfortunate when the Knicks really could have used someone like Randle. But Randle has been really good ever since beginning in New York. The last 4 years, he's been absolutely amazing. And last year, 24, 9, and 5 that's great stuff. That is great stuff. 24, 9, and 5. Now it's just very interesting to see what it's going to be like this year where Randle, with him not playing for so long in the Knicks, establishing guys like Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, has some big moments. They brought in Mikal Bridges. They don't really have a lot of big man center play. So now it's going to be a lot of spotlight's going to be kind of on Julius Randle. Like, how is he going to fit in with this team? Is he going to, mold his game a little bit and fit in with this Knicks team? Is he going to be the thing that the Knicks were missing last season? How's he going to look? We don't really know yet. But Randle is still really, really, really good. He still has some really good moments. And it's insane kind of to think about how great Julius Randle has become. 24, 9, and 5. He's done that for the past 3 or 4 years now. Have numbers similar to that. His first year, the second year in New York when he had his first breakout, 24, 10, and 6, then 20, 10, and 5, 25, 10, and 4, and then 24, 9, and 5. It's insane that Randle has become this type of player, and he's a consistent kind of all-star. He's been all-star 3 of the last 4 seasons. Even last year, again, when he started off the season so bad, he still ended up making the all-star team. So incredible to see that from Randle, and let's see how he fits in with this year's Knicks team. At number 6 on the top 10 power forward list, we have Pascal Siakam of the Indiana Pacers. Pascal last year averaged 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists on 53, 34, 73 shooting. And then their playoffs, he averaged 21 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 3 assists on 54, 29, 62 shooting splits. Pascal, since coming to Indiana, has been the thing that was missing for the Pacers. Just a guy that can go get a bucket in the half court when they really need him to. And he played really good in the regular season, had some good moments. And then the playoffs, he had some nice moments as well, especially I think that first round series against the Bucks. He was incredible. The first 2 games of the series, he was averaging like 30-something a game. He was absolutely incredible, could not be stopped in that mid-range area. And it's just, Pascal has become a really, really good player. The last couple of years I've been saying I feel like he's been one of the more kind of underappreciated players in the NBA. But Pascal is really good. I mean, to see where he's come from of course, being a guy that no one knew to now being an all-star type of caliber player, all NBA twice. But just the way he's molded his game and the way he's become a very efficient scorer in terms of getting to the mid-range, getting to, the paint, knocking it down, becoming a decent three-point shooter, the rebounding, even playmaking a little bit has just been great. And now with this Indiana team, now I think with a full offseason to get to, because remember last year he got brought in like January, I think, and just had to roll like that in the middle of the season. Now he gets a full offseason to really work with this Indiana Pacer team and learn this offense. I think he's going to have an even better year, probably an all-star type of year next season for Indiana, because I just think he's a big piece to this Pacers puzzle. I think he's really going to do great things next season. I'm very excited for him, to be in this opportunity with Indiana with this young, fun team. At number 5 on the top 10 power forward list, we have Paulo Borero of the Orlando Magic. Paulo last season averaged 22 points, almost 7 rebounds, and 5 assists on 45, 34, 72 shooting. And then their first round series last year in the playoffs, he averaged 27, 8, and 4 with a steal on 45, 40, 75 shooting splits. Paulo has just done as much as you can ask for a guy so far through 2 years. As a number 1 overall pick, he had a dominant rookie season, won Rookie of the Year, no doubt. And then last year, being even better, making the all-star team, improving literally every category, except for free throw shooting, I guess, and rebounding, he stayed the same, but still, points increase, assists increase, shooting from the field and from 3 increase, minutes increased, games played increased, just doing so much and helping star a young Magic team that no one expected to be a playoff team, not even just that, but being a 5th seed and being one of the more better teams in the Eastern Conference. And then going into your first playoff series against a Cavaliers team that is one of the better defenses in the league, and going up and having a series where you average 27, 8, and 4 on good efficiency. I mean, what more can you really ask from a guy that's 21 years old to do at this point? I mean, it's just incredible how he's become such a star player this early in his career. It's great. I mean, Paulo's one of my favorites. I love his game. Big body 4 that can score down low in the paint. The mid-range game is butter. The three-point shot has become decent. He can play make. He'll try on the defensive end. Like, he just has all the makings to being a future superstar in this league, and he's on the track to be one of the best stars in the league eventually at some point. And it might happen as early as next year or the year after, depending on how he comes out this season. It's just, Paulo has become super, super amazing, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for him, because he's on track to be a top player in this game. And at 21 years old, the sky's the limit. I mean, already being this high on this list this early in your career is just incredible, and the things he's done already is absolutely incredible. And again, I cannot wait to see what the future holds for him. At number 4 on the top 10 power forward list, we have Kevin Durant of the Phoenix Suns. Durant last season averaged 27, 6, and 5 with a block on 52, 41, 85 shooting. And then their playoff series last year, he averaged 26, 6, and 3 with 1.5 blocks on 55, 41, 82 shooting. Kevin Durant is 35 years old, and he's still as great as he was when he was 25 years old. It's incredible. Last year, he played in 75 games, the most he's played in a season since 2019 before he had the Achilles injury. 27, 6, and 5 with a block on almost 50, 40, 90 again. Just doing Kevin Durant thing. There's not much more to say really about Kevin Durant in his career. Was an all-star last year, made All-NBA second team, finished top 10 in MVP voting. Now the Suns themselves as a team did not have as big of a season as we expected. They were swept in the first round in a series where they underperformed in that series to a young Minnesota Timberwolves team. But Kevin Durant is still Kevin Durant. He's still absolutely amazing. And then in the Olympic run this season, he did not play in any of the exhibition games, didn't play until they got to France, and he played, and he came right in, and it looked like he was playing this entire time. Just too easy, really, for him. So, yeah, I mean, it's Kevin Durant. There's not much more you can really talk about with KD at this point in his career. He's done everything that you've asked him for. Love him or hate him. I personally love Kevin Durant. I feel like he's going to be one of those guys where once he retires, people are going to really realize, like, dang, I miss Kevin Durant, Like, he's just one of those guys I feel like is not going to be as appreciated as he should be until he ultimately ends up retiring, which who knows how long that's going to be. But right now, he's in Phoenix. He's doing his thing. He's still giving you 27, 6, and 5 on amazing efficiency as you can ask for him. And now it's just about, can he win another championship? Can he help bring this Phoenix Suns team to success? We'll wait and see. At number 3 on the top 10 power forward list, we have LeBron James of the LA Lakers. LeBron last year averaged 25, 7, and 8 with a steal on 54, 41, 75 shooting. And then their playoff series last year, he averaged 27, 6, and 8 with 2 steals and a block on 56, 38, 74 shooting. LeBron James just finished year 21, and he's still averaging 25, 7, and 8, which is dang near the same numbers he averaged a couple years ago in 2020 when he first got to the Lakers. So it's incredible to watch LeBron at 39 years old, after year 21, still doing LeBron James things. There's not much more you can really say at this point. Still made All-NBA third team. That was an All-Star last year. Finished top 10 in Clutch Player of the Year voting. He played in 71 games, which is the most he's played since 2018 when he was in Cleveland. So he was healthy. He was there. He shot 41% from threes, the most he's ever shot in his career. Still getting better. It's incredible. It really is incredible. And then in the USA and the Olympic run, still being the best player on the court at 39 years old, winning the FIBA MVP. It's like, what more? It's LeBron James at this point. What more you can say? He's about to be 40 years old next season. He is about to be 40 years old next year in year 22. And he's probably still going to average, half a year he averages about 25, 7, and 8. Something like that on good efficiency, on decent efficiency. And so, it's just inevitable that he's going to do that next year. It's LeBron James. There's not much more to say to his career and what he's done, besides he is one of the greatest, potentially the greatest to ever step on a basketball court. It's crazy. Now, in terms of Lakers' success and all that stuff, that's a entirely different thing. I think that's the only reason why he's not number 1 or number 2 still on this list, is that the Lakers team is still kind of just not very good, and it's still gonna be a fight to get to even the postseason. Is gonna be a big fight, but as long as LeBron's leading, they have a shot. At number 2 on the top 10 power forward list, we have Jayson Tatum of the Boston Celtics. Tatum last year averaged 27, 8, and 5 with a steal on 47, 37, 83 shooting. And then their playoff run, he averaged 25, 9, and 6 with a steal on 42, 28, 86 shooting. He finally did it. Won an NBA championship as the best player on the team, even though Jaylen Brown did get Finals MVP. Shout out to Jaylen Brown. But Tatum, at 26 years old, he's done as much as you really asked him to do, kind of similar to what I said about Paulo, but Tatum on a grander scale. So far through his career, he's been in the playoffs for every year of his career. He's been in the playoffs. He's made All-Star team 5 years, All-NBA for 4 years, All-NBA first team 3 years in a row, finished top 10 in MVP voting for 3 years in a row, had a year where he averaged 30, has good efficiency, years where he's averaging 8 rebounds, last year career high in assists at almost 5 a game. He's done basically almost, and now with a championship, he's done basically everything you've asked him to do except for win MVP, I guess, is the next thing on the list for JT. But Tatum has just been so good, and finally getting over that hump and winning an NBA championship is huge. Now, last year in the playoffs, efficiency was not great. 28% from 3 is not the Jayson Tatum that we know. I don't know what's going on with that. Then the Olympic run, Steve Kerr not playing him was an interesting thing. But Jayson Tatum is still one of the best players in the game, probably a top 5, top 10 player in the NBA. There's been a lot of talk on the negative side about Jayson Tatum for really stupid reasons, honestly. More about, he doesn't have the killer instinct, or he didn't show that he was number 1 in the playoffs, or he didn't have big games where he had 35, 40 points, or, he had the corny stuff after he won the championship, or, he didn't play Olympics. It doesn't matter. That really just does not matter. That's more of just people just talking just to talk. Honestly, that's really what it is. At the end of the day, no matter what anyone says about that, whatever, at the end of the day, does Jayson Tatum care? No, he does not care. So it doesn't really matter. He still is one of the elite players in the NBA. All NBA first team 3 years in a row, All-Star 3 years in a row, now an NBA champion. I'm going to probably finish in the top 10 in MVP voting for the next few years. He might win one eventually, who knows? But Jayson Tatum is elite. And there's not much more you can really say about JT now that he's won an NBA championship. And at number 1, the best 4 in the league on the top 10 list, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis last year averaged 30 points, 11.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, a steal, and a block on 61, 27, 65 shooting splits. Those numbers I just read are absolutely insane. 30, 11, and 6, a steal, and a block on 61% shooting. Only Giannis can do that. I mean, it was insane. All NBA first team, All-Star, finished top 5 in MVP voting for the 6th year in a row, finished top 10 in DPOY voting for the 5th year in a row. Just incredible stuff from Giannis. I mean, he's on track to be, probably no doubt Hall of Famer at this point by now. Unfortunately, injuries have really affected him. Last year he did play 73 games of the regular season, which is the most he's played since 2018, but more specifically in the playoffs. In 2023, how, he had the injury that forced him to miss some games in the Miami Heat series, and then they got upset there as a 1 seed. And then last year, not being able to play at all in the playoffs against the Indiana Pacers, where they lost again. So it's just really, really unfortunate since 2021, since their championship run, the Bucks have not had a healthy run, and injuries have always kind of, even in 2022, Giannis didn't get hurt, but Chris Middleton got hurt in their series where they eventually ended up losing to the Boston Celtics. So it's just been really, really tough since the championship run. They haven't been able to really have a healthy, put-together run to go far, because as long as Giannis Antetokounmpo is on the court, they're going to have a chance to win any series. Because Giannis most of the time is going to be the best player on the court, especially if they're playing in the Eastern Conference. So, yeah, Giannis has just been absolutely incredible. Last year, career high in assists per game and field goal percentage is insane. He's about to turn 30 years old this season, which is crazy to me. And he's still going to have just amazing numbers. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to a big Bucks season. I'm really looking forward to a year where the last 2 years have ended in big disappointment. And I don't know. I got a feeling I'm really hoping that not just Giannis, but the Bucks in general come out and just have a year where it's like, all right, you're forget. Because I honestly am feeling like they're becoming the forgotten contender in the East because the last couple of years injuries have really affected them. That led to teams like the Boston Celtics, obviously they're elite. The Sixers, now the Knicks are building up. Even sneaky teams like Orlando and Cleveland and Philly now has gotten better. Like, it just feels like they're kind of becoming the forgotten team that's like, hey, they have arguably the best player in the NBA over there on their team, and they're a team that has won a championship before. They can do this too. So I'm really expecting a big year for Milwaukee and having a year where they show everybody, hey, do not forget about us. And yeah, that's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, like I said earlier in the video, if you disagree with anything on the list, let me know down in the comment section below who your top 10 top forwards are, what your personal list would be. And yeah, once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, turn on notifications, do all the stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a whole lot. And be on the lookout for the top 10 center video that's coming out on Thursday. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow.